Well, team, Papa Trump done hurt me. Oh, Papa Trump, how could you, baby?
All the time. Excuse me.
What you done did to me, I can't forget. Well, I can forgive you. It's cool, man. I understand. And you should too. Because when we understand where President Trump was coming from, then we can probably understand why he said what he done said about Bitcoin. Let's talk about it right now. Okay, well, says Trump, Bitcoin seems like a scam and should be regulated very, very high. Very, very high.
But excuse me.
Here's the deal, guys. This kind of makes sense if you think about it. Think of who Donald Trump is and how he made his money.
Excuse me. I raised a lot of money.
He's a real estate guy. He's used to his money going to something tangible where you can go and grab it and feel it. And, he builds hotels and casinos, and it's all real estate deals. He's really a real estate mogul when it comes down to it, plus a reality TV star, plus El Presidente. At least right here. Come on, D20. 2024, baby. Although DeSantis is looking good, but that's a story for another video. Right now, let's talk about what Trump said about Bitcoin. And, well, golly, guys, he's all about real estate, and he's all about his money being invested in things he can touch, feel, and see. Now, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is non-tangible, decentralized. There's no control over it.
Giddy up.
Trump, his organization was very centralized, and he made a lot of money by buying things that he could see had intrinsic value to it. And nothing really has intrinsic value, but if you were going to say something did have intrinsic value, if things were to be able to have intrinsic value, other than what we humans place on them, then things like land, gold, these come to mind because, they're not making any more land. So Trump has always been about money for land, for things that he can, there's buildings. He built a building, and that's very, very tangible. So, of course, Papa Trump is going to say something to the effect of things he can't touch, hold, and see, feel, and understand. Because cryptocurrency is not easy to understand. I mean, what the hell's a blockchain? You gotta dive deep, baby, or you're just gambling. So Trump doesn't know much about it, and from the outskirts, everyone thinks it's a scam when they first hear it. They think, okay, so you want me to buy this long chain of code and pay pay people a lot of money? Because if you look at the mining fees and gas fees for like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're very high. And so if you didn't understand all that, you would be like, wow, it's set up for the guys who just made it up. You can just type it down. So I don't think he understands fully what it is because it doesn't make sense from his perspective. Also, keep in mind, he is the president. He was the president of the United States. So he kind of has a vested interest plus billions of reasons why he wants the dollar to be very strong. It works for him and what he's done. He was never in currencies. Like, again, he was a real estate guy, so he was never in currencies. Anyway, so we go into this. Let's find out exactly what he did actually say. So he was asked by Stuart Varney, you don't like Bitcoin. You wouldn't invest in Bitcoin. Do you invest in the stock market at this moment? He's British. So you don't like Bitcoin. You wouldn't invest in Bitcoin. Do you invest in the stock market at this moment? That's the worst British accent ever. Anyway, Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I was surprised. With us, I think that's when he's saying when he was president, it was at 6,000 and much lower. Well, yeah, from the beginning of the presidency, it was much lower than 6. And then towards the end, it just rallied. Which is a huge, to get 1,000 times in investment, anytime you hear that something is producing 10, 100, 1,000 times ROI, it thinks it's a scam. And that's what you have to, your knee-jerk reaction should always be, it's a scam. No way anything legitimate is going to give you that type of return. Well, not always, and so you got to do your homework. As it turns out with Bitcoin. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world, and that's what I've always said. So automatically, he's saying he's on the side of the dollar, which is cool, man. Right on. He's made billions of dollars with it. He was the president of the United States. It's a very patriotic thing to do, I guess. I want the dollar to be strong always because that means the American economy will be good. And if the American economy is good, then, I'm an American. So, of course, I want it to be good. I want my fellow brothers to have a strong, I want them to be flush with cash, baby, so they can have other problems to worry about. Anyway, the point being, Of course, he wants the dollar to be. He set up Bitcoin is a competitor to the dollar, because the dollar is like, for instance, in El Salvador, and we'll talk about El Salvador in a later video. But El Salvador just made Bitcoin their official currency, which I don't know if they've got a dual. We'll look into it a little bit more. But I mean, the dollar was their currency that they pegged everything to previously. Now Bitcoin's in there. I don't know if they kept the dollar as well. It would seem foolish to just scrap one in favor of the other, because the whole idea, well, we'll get into that later. Never mind. The thing I'm trying to say is that Bitcoin is very much a competitor with the dollar. So it kind of makes sense that if Trump's going to choose one, the US dollar, because he's made his fortune upon it and he doesn't understand Bitcoin. That's not a slam to say, oh, you're just uneducated. I mean, I didn't understand it and I still don't understand it, even though I've got a much bigger idea of what it is and how it works and I know what a blockchain is, for goodness sakes. Whew. Anyway, it makes sense that Papa Trump would be like this. And, he talks about how it needs to be very, very highly regulated. Well, think about that for a second, guys. If you've thought for 1 second that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general wasn't going to have some kind of tax liability associated with it, you're dreaming. You're drunk, man. You're drunk with the riches you just made. Of course, the government's going to want to come in and get their cut, even though they took none of the risk. Got it. You should too. Whenever you make cash money in this here United States or anywhere, really, government's going to want their cut.
We should wet our beaks a little.
So the idea that Bitcoin wasn't regulated or wasn't going to be is silly. Do you think you can just drop hundreds of thousands of dollars, hopefully for all of us, into an account in the United States and have them not ask questions? I mean, come on, man. They're going to want to see your finances. That's part of your tax return. If you deal in cryptocurrency and you make a profit, no more 1040 easies for you. Oh, sorry, 1040. You're going to be a 1040, the non-easy type. It's not going to. You're going to have to list things out, man, and that's okay. Good for you. You made money, but the government was always going to come in. So when he says they're going to have to regulate it very, very high, it means the government's going to got to come in and get their cut. You're going to become wealthy. Well, the government wants a cut of it, and that's the debate we can have, right or wrong. The reality is that's what's going to happen. So it's not really a surprise. And when the IRS does ramp up its, Bitcoin cryptocurrency enforcement arm, it shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. What we've got to do is just keep it low. Yet again, why these high taxes are a bad idea, man. But whatever. You like high taxes? I don't like high. But all I know is that if I buy and sell crypto, I'm going to be exposing myself to a higher tax liability, and it's a currency. Whatever, we'll figure it out. Anyway, Papa Trump, I love you. I suggest you hop into Bitcoin. Why it's down near the bottom. But anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.